In this video, I want to introduce you guys to a winter car wash method I developed a few years ago that I called the dry wash method, so that in the wintertime, you don't have to be freezing when you wash a car. What's going on, guys? Luke here with Wilson Auto Detailing. I'm a pro detailer based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and in the detail garage this morning, we've got this Mini Cooper here. It's a vehicle that I've maintained for a very, very long time, and it's wintertime outside. I want to talk to you guys if you're in 30-degree weather, 20-degree weather, and you're outside detailing. It's really frustrating to have to like put your hands in cold water, and so let's talk about how we can address this. So obviously understand there are different ways to attack this, but what I have in a 32-ounce spray bottle right here is a rinseless wash. It's Optimum No Rinse. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm taking a lot of this product and I'm spraying a lot of it on the paint, okay? So I'm really not holding back. Now, could I just do a classic rinseless wash? Yes. However, one of the things that I'm trying to do as a mobile detailer when I'm washing a car outside is keep my hands warm if I'm in 30-degree weather. So I've got a microfiber towel here that's relatively plush. So there's a microfiber towel that's going to be like between 450 GSM, okay? I like using really plush towels for this. Now, when I've let my rinseless wash here do its thing, I'm going to take my steamer. I'm going to point it down the car, so I'm going from top to bottom here on one side of my microfiber towel. I'm pushing everything down, and it looks just like this. I start here at the top, I start pushing things down, and I take my microfiber towel down everywhere I use the steamer. I can push behind the side view mirror here to get in these more difficult to reach spaces. I'm not scrubbing back and forth with my towel. I'm very simply following my steamer, just like this, not putting a bunch of pressure. And I'll go about this far down. One of the things I'm always wanting to implement here, particularly when I'm doing this dry wash method, is when I get to a lower rocker panel and it's particularly dirty, I don't want to take this microfiber towel to the bottom. I actually want to switch. So I've got one that I kind of reserve for dirtier stuff down here. I'm going to do the same exact thing, just like this. I can even take kind of single swipes just like that. It's really important to understand when you get to this point, there's still gonna be some stuff on the paint. Don't worry about that right now. Don't worry about the bug. Don't worry about the tar. Now I wanna show you guys what this looks like because yes, I've got some dirt on my microfiber towel here. Here's what the clean side looks like and dirty. Okay, so I pulled off a bunch of the surface dirt. Now a lot of you might be thinking, Luke, I don't wanna use this method because if I use this method, then aren't I gonna scratch the paint a bunch and get a bunch of micro scratching, micro marring? We could talk endlessly about touching the paint, not touching the paint, scratching it, not scratching it. It's important to understand that yes, this is a ceramic coated vehicle, but I could perform the same exact technique here with a non-ceramic coated vehicle. The thing to think about here is a trade-off. In the wintertime, when you're a mobile detailer and you're in extreme conditions, there are certain things that just kind of have to be done. And the amount of micro scratching, abrading that is being introduced when I do this, it's such a non-issue that it's not something I'm worried about. It's a trade-off in the winter time to make sure the customer gets what they want, can maintain the vehicle, and I'm not in these extreme conditions that I really can't handle. Now at this point, I want to introduce a second way to do this in case some of you guys are like, well, I don't have a steamer or I don't really like using the steamer on the paint because it makes me kind of scared. I'm going to focus in here and show you a couple ways to really be risk-free with it. I'm going to do the same exact thing, taking my Optimum No Rinse solution. I'm going to spray it all over the paint. You guys just saw I sprayed a ton of solution on the paint. It's really important for me to emphasize here. Spray a lot of solution on the paint. What I'm avoiding here is having to dip my hands in any water whatsoever. Now we're going to get to a third way of doing this dry wash method, but first I want to take the Tornador Max here and I'm going to put it up to where the water is spraying out, and I'm literally going to do the exact same thing. I've got distilled water in here, I've got distilled water in my steamer, I've got distilled water in my 32-ounce spray bottle. Everything I'm doing here is with distilled water. I'm gonna take my microfiber towel, literally just flip it to the other side, push the water down just like this. Switch my microfiber towels over here to this really dirty one, flip sides. Now let me emphasize a second time, using the Tornador here, I'm not gonna get everything perfectly off the paint. I'm not worried about that. I stop at the bottom of the paint, not doing the black trim lower rocker panel yet. This is as good as it's gonna get for this moment. Now, as I'm addressing this back half here, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. Again, Optimum No Rinse solution all over the paint. And this third way is an option only for those of you who have access to hot water. So check it out. What I've done here is actually not fill this bucket up with hot water, but I filled it up with cold water from the hose. Then I've got a thermos full of boiling hot hot water, poured it in, and basically this has made it warm water. Point being is, I can dip this microfiber towel inside of warm water, wring it out ever so slightly, and then move across the paint in kind of a Gary Dean method here. Take another clean, plush microfiber towel to dry it off. This is a perfectly fine way to do a rinseless method like in the summertime, but again, it's just another way to wash paint in the wintertime, keeping my hands actually warm. Now, I brought you guys down low to look at this bottom part of the car because I want to emphasize something. Of course, anybody watching this video is going to think, well, listen, whether it's the bottom part of the door or even other areas of the car, there are certain areas that are so dirty, they really don't lend themselves well to a rinseless wash. What I've got here is about 8-to-1 super clean degreaser, nothing real crazy with it, right? I'm going to spray it on the black trim pretty liberally all across, okay? In a situation like this, because I'm not using running water, remember, I'm just avoiding running water. I'm gonna let this sit before I touch anything. I'm gonna take my steamer. No, I would not use the Tornador in here as my first choice because it doesn't have the heat to knock off things here. Take the heat and the pressure from my steamer. I'm gonna start knocking things off this lower area of the vehicle, just like this. Now, I want you guys to make sure you understand I'm not being crazy in terms of how close I'm spraying with the steamer here. Yes, I can damage black trim if I'm not careful. So I am going to be very careful. I'm going to hold it at a reasonable length, just like this. And basically I'm just pointing it down, knocking stuff off, just like this. Very, very simple, very straightforward. Okay, if I want to be hyper sensitive to touching the paint, to touching the car, all that sort of stuff, I can take some Optimum No Rinse. This is going to rinse any residue off. I'm going to take my dirty microfiber towel and I'm just going to start wiping the bottom part of the paint, and this black trim totally cleaned up. Now, in terms of cleaning kind of the brunt of the dirt off of a car without using any water whatsoever, I want to address the tires and the wheels here because there are limitations here that you would have to use water for. So check it out. This is actually where I put the steamer away once again and I break out the Tornador. One of the great things about this tool is it can work as a source of flowing water as needed in situations like this. What I'm going to do is actually wet the tire. Now, I'm not wetting it a lot, as you can see, okay? I'm gonna take some tire cleaner. I'm not going to spray as much as I would if I had running water. So I'm spraying basically a thin film of tire cleaner. And this is where I would say there's kind of a moment of cutting corners, and I wanna explain to you why I think it's appropriate. Take my microfiber towel that I use for tires, engines, all that sort of stuff, and I'm gonna start rinsing with this and scrubbing with my microfiber towel. Dry the tire as much as possible, and that tire is now going to be clean. Now, what I mean when I say cutting corners, obviously there is more cleaning I could do to a tire like this. This is a minor modification, a minor adjustment for the winter time to get this tire where it needs to be so that it can be appropriately dressed. Could I clean it more? Yes. Is it necessary in order to dress it? No. If you are a mobile detailer, there might be moments like this where cleaning a tire like this has to be sufficient. I want to do the same exact thing with the wheels, and it's important for me to say that these wheels are in great condition. I am not even beginning to touch the inner barrel, okay? Once again, it's an area where you have to let go of it if you're gonna do things like this in the wintertime because the situation calls for it. The only thing I'm dealing with is the face of the wheel. These wheels are ceramic coated. They're a lot easier to clean than other wheels. This strategy might not work if the wheel is super damaged. But all I wanna do after I spray the cleaner is the same exact thing, agitating with my towel and the Tornador, just like this. If you have a wheel that's ceramic coated like this, it's going to be far easier to clean this way because that brake disc really does just fall off, and you don't need any brushes. All you need is a simple microfiber towel. The vortex nature of the air also makes it really easy to get into these lug nut areas because that air really does whip stuff up, and it makes it easy to peel off a lot of this surface dirt here. So this is a very simple way to deal with wheels and the majority of dirt in the wintertime. Now, there is one more thing. If you are going to do things this way and perform kind of a dry car wash method in the wintertime, which is totally necessary for mobile detailers in particular, I suggest at minimum a final inspection and a final wipe down that you normally would take more time on than you would if you were doing a traditional wash method with a product like this. Now, could I take my clay bar to make this really easy and my ONR solution and go around the entire vehicle and get those tiny areas with the clay bar that need to kind of pull up some tar or something like that? Yes, but oftentimes it's even easier to use a chemical-based product like the Gyeong Quartz Water Spot Remover. Yes, this is specifically for water spots, but it works really well with dried on tar, bird droppings, droppings or any of that kind of stuff, where I can go around the entire car, see what's potentially left over, spray just a little bit of this product, let it work just a second, and then I can start moving in a very, very simple, no pressure motion to clean that off, and take my Optimum No Rinse, rinse off the residue so that I don't have any of that water spot residue there, and bam, I'm completely finished and ready to go ahead and seal in the paint. So guys, there you have it. It's a very simple and kind of multifaceted way that you can approach a car in the wintertime without getting your hands wet, without having to deal with super cold water, and it's a totally sufficient way to wash a car, to prep it before waxing or sealing or anything like that. I'll hook up all the products and tools that I used in this video in the YouTube description box below so that you guys can get access to those or see those if you're wondering what they are. And if you're trying to kind of wade through the confusing nature of the detailing industry, I've also got a top 12 tools and products list that people really seem to like, and I'll link that up in the YouTube description box below. It's called the Essential Detailing Toolbox. You can get it for free here as well. Guys, if you found some value here from this video, make sure before you leave to hit the like button, because it's the only way that I know that this video actually mattered to somebody. So hit the like button so that I can see and I can put out more videos like this. And as always, from Luke here at Wilson Auto Detailing, thank you guys so much for being involved. Keep working hard, and I'll see you in the next video.